Hello, this is the General Conversation Podcast. I'm Valerie, and
this is Cord.
And you're listening to episode 9. Please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, like, comment below, subscribe, share our podcast, listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Pocket Casts, or any of your favorite streaming platforms. We also have merchandise on Teespring's website. And so we're glad that you're listening to us today. We have a great topic, a few topics for you that are very interesting and sure to get your mind wondering. The word of the day is sunder, S-U-N-D-E-R, means to separate, part, divide, sever. Why are you looking at me like that? I try to, get words that correlate with our topics.
I want y'all to know, Valerie's looking like a whole news anchor right now.
I know!
Like a whole news anchor. And if you, that is not static in the background, it is raining relatively hard, and we can't control the weather, so, it is
so
what
you
it
can
is.
you can hear it. Maybe it'll make you go to sleep. But wake up and then re-listen to our podcast, okay? Anyway, the synonym for sunder is segregates, insulates, disjoin, break. Just break. Don't break it, but break.
Sip on this cup.
So I chose this word, like I said, it correlates definitely with the topics that Cordero sent over to me. And I'm going to let him pop this thing on off.
Yes.
Go for it.
Today, one of the topics today is one of the questions: why do we promote colorism subliminally or purposefully? If I said that wrong, please forgive me. Amongst ourselves. Second part of the question is that a form of racism that we perpetuate? Once again, the question is, why do we promote colorism subliminally? Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
/ purposefully amongst ourselves, and is that a form of racism that we perpetuate?
So I thought that was a good question, but I wanted to ask, who is we, if I could partake in that? Why do we? Who are you speaking of in this form?
People of color.
Okay, so people of color promote this. Okay, gotcha.
Now, this is not this doesn't just pertain to black people. I have seen it among some of the Latino and of the Asian community as well.
And Indian.
Yeah, they do. So I want to know, if we're dealing with racism on the outside, like, why do we promote it? If we're always trying to combat it on the outside in the first place, why do we promote it amongst ourselves?
So for me, I think colorism is really no different than racism. I mean, it's a different form of it, of course. Colorism is, typically when a lighter person is discriminative toward a darker skinned person, no matter what nationality background. And you're correct, I've seen it in the Asian community, the Latin America community, or Latin community, not American, but Latin community. I've seen it, of course, black people. I've seen it in different cultures, and I think honestly it's systematically what we've taught, that right is right, and the darker ones is poor, and this and it doesn't look good, it's not appealing. And also I think too, it's what the media, it's what movies, it's what other things promote. But before I even get into that, I'm just going to speak on what I know of as being a black person, and being with our history behind it, is that mainly it was due to separate us. And it was all we were slaves. Some of us, I mean, if you came through by way of boat, I mean, some people, I don't want to sit here and say like all black people were slaves, because that's not the thing. But like most of the people that came over here that came unwillingly came as slaves. And so anyway, I think once you got into the plantation and you got into the slaves and the master and the white person being the master, you got to see where there was rape going on. There's a lot of things going on that was being mistreated, and we were not treated like humans. We were not treated like people. And so I think that just trickled down into into having different, of course, having different shades of black people, mulatto people, biracial people, and it just trickle on down, lighter skin. And I think that honestly, it's one of those things that it came from a negative connotation and it just trickled down. And I think people said it talked about through generations, however you want to say that. But yeah, I think through generations teach that, and so it's been passed down. And I think that it stems from like, at least I don't look like this, or it's a self-hate because ultimately the person is black, right? And you're hating somebody else that is darker than you. At the end of the time, you still black. Like what Kanye West say, you still a nigga. So it's one of them things that like you can be lighter. That's a whole nother thing. But you can be lighter, darker, or whatever the case be. The thing is, you still not better than the next person's how they see you. But I think when it comes down to like when people say, I was a house nigga, or I went in the field, I wasn't picking cotton, but you were being raped. So I mean, I'm just saying, like,
pick battles and shit.
You still treated like a second class citizen because of your skin color. Because initially you may, have your mother may have been raped, so you came out lighter skin. However the case may be, they're not sitting there claiming you. And so it's just one of them things that I feel like, why do we promote it? I think we promote it because there's a lot of self-hate still to this day. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's one of those things that, like I said, the media promotes what you see rappers like rappers, from actors to ball players. I mean, I think honestly for me, when we as women see a black guy that's got a black woman and she's like just traditionally pretty and doesn't, it's like, when I say traditionally, I mean like, they want to say, my mother is this and this. I mean like just traditionally a black woman. And we're like, okay, he went and got him a black girl. And like she, you know what I'm saying? I think that a lot of times we look at it and say, okay, cool. Because, typically we'll see sometimes where, it's a rapper or whoever. It ain't even got to be a rapper. It could just be someone that has money, that maybe has made it out of a certain situation. And, like, we kind of idolize them and maybe a good person. Then, as we'll find out he got a spouse that's not black. I'm not even going to say white, just that's not black. And then we just sitting there like scratching our heads like, okay, but you love. I mean, like I said, I don't have, me personally, I don't have any, I'm not one of those people that like, if he like this person. I mean, if you say, I fell in love with this person and that's what it is. But if you only date a certain kind of person, I am going to sit there and be like, okay, so you only date white women, or you only date women that are not a color, but you typically black, you black, but you have this is what you go for. I can see how, and then sometimes you'll see those kind of situations. People pander to black people, and then in movies they got a black woman, but then when you see in real life, they ain't nothing like, even though it is a movie, but they ain't nothing like, what they're acting to be or portraying to be. But anyway, like I said, it's definitely something that's passed down. Why do we promote it? I think it's because of self-hate. I think it's not loving yourself, of not loving you, period. Even if you're a lighter skinned person, there has to be a certain kind of hate to sit there and say, well, this person is too dark and I just don't like them. Or, they less than because they too dark. Other cultures, I'm not really sure where they're stemmed from because, I haven't really researched that, to be honest, to see, like, the Asian community, why that is. But if there's anything like the black community, black American community, like I said, it's been taught by the master, by the oppressors, that y'all shouldn't even congregate together anyway. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all shouldn't be. You should look at it. His dark skin, his nappy hair, or whatever they're gonna say. It's to separate so that we won't combine together. We will sunder, okay, if you will. And it's just been perpetuated over, like I said, over social media, over regular media, over when you see your favorite movie or shows. A lot of times they got this, lighter skinned person playing them, or a person maybe not even be, this racially ambiguous person that they have playing the love interest. And it's just like one of them things that we watch and it's like, okay, yeah, but like I said, one of the coolest movies that I saw You ain't scared about the thunder?
No, it's like really like damn.
Yeah, it's kicking in. Like the Wakanda movie and how that they had no, you could tell like it was all like African, like you could, and like the hair from the hair to like the natural hair. I loved it. I thought it was really just a smart thing, and I think they were trying to represent it to the best of their ability. And I think a lot of people was like, well, why wasn't any people, not everybody, but some people was like, well, there weren't no light skinned people. Well, in that Wakanda, there was no mixing of different. Of a white man or none of that, so it's like this is all melanated people, darker melanated people, and it was just nice to see that those kind of actors got that kind of shine as well, because like I love me a Halle Berry and a Vanessa Williams and all them people like that, but I like Gabrielle Union and Gabrielle Sidibe. Like there's a lot of cool, really like good actors, and then, honestly, it shouldn't even be like a light skin versus dark skin thing. It really should just be a people thing. And unfortunately, I think until we learn to kind of promote that instead of saying, well, why is it, yeah, we should have the conversation, of course, why do we promote, so to speak, this negativity, but it's it's a disconnect, like I said, because of generation. It's just like being racist. It's a disconnect with being a person.
I think this is my opinion. One of the reasons I think is it was always how the way you treated. So like she said before, just going back to, if you will, to when slavery was in effect. If you were of lighter skin tone, you were treated better. So that made the darker skinned people. We'll call it was jealousy or being envious of them. So they already had like this kind of this attitude towards light skinned people, and then also light skinned people seeing that because they were lighter skinned that they got treated better, regardless of the position. We were both treated like dirt, but you were treated better because your skin was lighter. If you was a product of if you were a product of of rape or of mixing or whatever, I believe that what we've seen before, that the master would treat that child better than the rest
probably because that was his child.
Yeah, that was his child, so he felt some kind of way about it. You might still think like, hey, he's still a nigga, but he my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, my nigga. So and so he treated the child better, and so now, like I said, just with that being repetitive over and over again throughout the years. I think that's where a lot of this kind of stems from. You have the stigmatism like, oh, if they're light skinned, they get treated better. Their stigmatism, if I'm light skinned, I do get treated better. But now they feel like, well, the dark skinned people hate me, right? Because I'm light skinned. Yeah. The white part of my family don't really mess with me like that because I'm black. So now you got the mix of like, dang, like where do I fit in? So now they got a whole attitude. So the dark skinned people got a whole attitude. The mixed people got a whole attitude, and so now we just we bump heads.
Yeah, and I absolutely think they come from being ripped from your culture, not trying to make your own like subculture. When they used to get together and dance, and the slaves would, and I think being ripped from your culture. These people being torn from children was being torn from their parents. Mm-hmm. This is just a selling like it's property. Okay, and so. Like I just remember that scene, like, and they're like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "Who's a kid?" And he's like, "Toby." Yeah, like trying to change.
We literally got the culture beat out of us, and this is why I find because I do see even if you want to go dark skin route, I do find that sometimes when you talk to people who are originally from but people who are from Africa, they come here and they kind of treat us, people who were born in America, black people who were born in America, a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
Now, this is why I find I'm gonna have to separate the two at this point. This is why I find black Americans so dope. It's because even though it's known that we are oppressed people. It's no longer a secret. It is what it is. But in us being oppressed, we still do some of the dopest shit ever. Yeah. We come up with our own music. Out of all, even though our culture was beat out of us, stripped from us and stuff like that, we came up with our own music, our own subculture, and we still in like how we say everybody want to be a nigga. Still time to be a nigga.
Right.
You know, if you look at the style of clothes that everybody's wearing and things like that, it's they mimic us.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
They mimic us. It is what it is. Called spade a spade.
Oh, we're going to find a way. Whatever way, we're going to find a way to put a jazz or put our own spin on something.
And so I look at it like this. If we are on a come up while being oppressed, think about it if we were not oppressed.
Right.
Like what we could accomplish if we weren't not,
right.
you know, held down in some form or fashion.
And just to say, like, I do agree that a lot of times I've seen people that are, you know, natively from Africa, where as far as like, you know, they came there, they didn't have any, you know, they didn't come, they're not originally from America, right? And they're from the continent. They do look us like, you guys, you know, they do look at us like either we're lazy or different things. And I think, you know, I'm not gonna say something, but you know, that's in any culture. I don't care where you go, you know. And I think people like to separate and say, well, this culture does this, or this sort of people does this, and that's what people want you to do. Now, some stereotypes, they tend to be right? But then there are some things that, like, everybody got somebody. Like, you can't go somewhere and tell me you don't know a lazy person in a form of, you know, in their culture,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And so I think that when people start to just realize that we all just trying to get out here and live the best way we know how, and that if we were more accepting as to, instead of coming here like, are y'all lazy, stop trying to stereotype everybody in such a way. Just like I think too, when they try to make it, when they would show Africa in the movies, they show like flies, and they not a well developed country, and it's just like somewhere you wouldn't want to be, when that wasn't the case everywhere, you know. And so it's just one of them kind of situations where, like, if you don't get out there and travel, you don't get out there and see the world, and you only depend on social media or TV, you're going to be very just closed-minded about things that's really happening in life, because they're going to show you what they want to show you. You got to get out there and see things for yourself. And I think that you have to come, when you come into another country, point blank, and I'm going to say this, and this is something that's popped up in my head. When you're coming from another country, and or culture too, for that matter, and you're coming to the United States, there's a mixture of everybody here. So you're gonna have a subculture of this people. Just like Cordero said, we were cool enough to and inventive enough to start our own stuff. We have people that have invented a lot of things, from Matter C.J. Walker to all these great dope people. And so I think we can't forget that, and that, you know, we had a lot going against us, and we still was, a lot of us still on, you know, stood up on top. But when you come to somebody else's country and you immerse yourself in their culture, stop sitting there and telling what you don't like about it or whatever, because you over here. You came over here. Anybody asked you to come over here? Well, you come from Spain. You come from Australia, Africa. Where you come from? You coming over here to live your life or be acclimated into this. This is just a society that we have. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we doing the best that we can. Now, can some people do better? Yeah. But that's like, I'm sure some things over there in Africa or Spain or wherever you from that you like, they can do better. And so it's like you come over here and you down what you see. Ooh, that lightning. You down what you see, but yet you trying to immerse yourself in a culture. Like, sometimes people got to realize that everybody has their own way of how they cope with things. And like I said, I think there's still a lot of us, like I said, there's a lot of rural counties you'll see, and rural areas that you will see that's still teaching some stuff that ain't even like what book y'all reading from. You know, they're very much impressed still to this day. So it's like, you know, you have subcultures everywhere, and so to sit there and stereotype, you're gonna do a misjustice to yourself, because you still got to get out there and see that, you know, we're not just like, I think they just put, just like that people come that they've never been to America, or they come here and they're like, America's just this, you know, we overeat, we over this. I'm not saying some of them things not right, but some of it is just stereotypical, because everybody is not like that, you know. And so it's like, you get what you see. Like I said, we didn't have a certain culture when we came over here. We had to find and make our own. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's the most important. That's what I focus on most times, is that we literally made up our own culture here. Even all that oppression and all that telling us what we could and could not do. We made up our own culture, our own dialect of language, our own subgenres of music, our own style of clothing,
and they still trying to snatch that. So we must be doing something right.
And they still trying to get it. So that's what I look at it like that. So, and plus, if you like, once again going back, we were forced to come here,
right?
We lost our languages and we lost our belief system or whatever it was prior to.
So instead of you coming over here and being understanding like that, let's say you are naturally, from Africa, and you come over here. No, we probably don't know.
What I come to find out is that a people's language, a people's belief system, and a people's culture, and those three things are very, very important to who they are.
Absolutely.
And so the fact that, we no longer have the original of that, and we had to, once again, come up with our own.
And mind you, we had to build it on broken things. We had to build it on we not good enough. We had to build it on as being a second class person. We had to build it on
walking on glass.
Knowing we could get beat for anything, knowing that we are very you separate people from their family, like you said, in your culture, and you tell them to do something they don't want to do. You enslaving them and you beating them, and you instilling this fear. First of all, the key word here is the fear of it all. Fear will break you down, make you feel like you less than, and it's no different than somebody kidnapping somebody, have them terrified, and have them basically in a room with the door open, and they will not leave out of fear. Out of fear.
You know what I realized? Black people have a very abusive relationship. We're in an abusive relationship with America.
Yeah.
We are if you think about it, we are in an abusive relationship with America, and I do mean that it's almost to the T. It's kind of like, oh, they did this to us, we'll forgive them. You know what I'm saying? It's just making excuses for things that kind of go wrong.
I don't even know if it's saying that we'll forgive them. I think to be honest, we so far behind the curve with certain things like laws and getting laws to be passed in our favor that even when we try to go and do it the right way in the legal system, I feel like it's a slap in the face because we're trying to do it the right way instead of doing it the way we probably really want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And then it's not working in our favor. Wait, this is the same law that was written supposedly to instill justice and make sure that people get justice, but we're not getting any justice. And so now it's like, what you want us to do? You know what I'm saying? We're trying to do it y'all way, and y'all way ain't working. And so if we was over here riding and doing other things, then it's like, why can't you guys just do it the legal way, the regular way? Well, the regular way ain't working for us. You know what I'm saying?
You want to listen in the regular way. So, yeah.
Second question.
That's going to be over. We're going to visit that a little later on. Okay, second question. My second topic question would be, what standard of value do we hold to ourselves? And do we allow others to determine what we are worth? Now, I was talking to, I think I was talking to you about this actually. Okay. It was about us selling land and things like that. Right. I think we had a conversation, and I was like, this is what I know. It's like when you go out and you want to sell your house, right? And you see you get a buyer, and this is just I'm generalizing. So don't the numbers say I'm generalizing. Right.
For conversation purposes.
Right. So generally what I notice is they'll go out and they get an appraisal, right?
Right.
The appraiser will tell you, hey, your house is only worth $78,000. The property value went down. It's only worth this amount of money. This is how much this is worth, right? Now, the bank is going to only give them that amount of money because that's what the appraiser says. It's only worth that amount of money, right? But you say, no, I want to sell it for $100,000. What do you do?
I mean, you gonna listen to your realtor most time, won't you?
Yeah, most people listen to their realtor, regardless of how you feel. But listen, it's the worth. Regardless of how you feel about what your place is worth, 9 times out of 10 people will sell it for whatever their realtor said they'll sell it for.
Because and I think, honestly, we're thinking that the realtor knows best because you realtors look at the comp of the other houses next in the neighborhood and what they sold for and what they can get because it's a business, so it's like a transaction between the seller and the buyer.
And the reason I'm bringing that up like that because I don't think black people value their neighborhoods the way they should.
Okay. Because
if you can let somebody else tell you what your land is worth, then they can tell you anything. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you really sit there and think about it, let's say I'm a big multi-million-dollar investor, right?
Right.
And I'm saying I want to buy these 3 houses, this little plot of land.
Well, you can always say no. You don't have
but
to.
How many people do it though? You see
probably more than we know. Probably more than we know. But then, I'm sure there's ways that investors try to get around that and try to up the prices. But that's why I said having a community that basically like looping arms and be still together and stand strong into what they're willing to do. Maybe that's what you're trying to say, that we, not even that we don't value what we're selling it for, it's too, like, how many times do we stick together as black people on a certain issue that we stand firm on, that we should stand firm and not waver. That we have one person that he half foot in, half foot out. You're like, come on, we need y'all to be united, because sometimes it only take one person to break the chain link, and now the chain, it ain't no chain no more. The thing is rackety, it ain't even no link.
But that is what I'm trying to say. I think my problem is, once again, we let other people or other cultures or other people of the races tell us how much something is worth that we own already.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna act like I don't know that is a true thing, because like I said, I just have talked to several other from my friends, and even personally, like family members that have land, and maybe they're like great aunts and uncles and stuff like that, and they sold it for little or nothing, because they trying to get the right now money, but they probably selling for pennies on a dime. You know what I'm saying? It's just like pennies on a dollar.
You best believe who bought that land, the developer.
I already done went and researched and know what he can really get for it. And I just feel like, we don't put enough.
I want $1 million an acre. That's outrageous. Well, that's your problem.
Right. Right. So I think it's just one of them things that, like, when you band together and you stand firm about, if you believe that, hey, I'm not selling this, and you have to that's why it's good to get petitions and have those conversations, and go to town hall meetings, and go to, so you know what's going on in your neighborhood, because honestly, they're legally required to let you know about those things in your neighborhood.
And I want to know, when we get down to the gist of it, how do they determine the property value? Because me, being a black person moving to the neighborhood, should not drop the property value. But it seems like that's what happens when you get a certain amount of people. Now, and it's not just black people. We'll talk about other minorities too. If you get a certain amount of minorities in some of these neighborhoods, all of a sudden the property value drops, quote unquote. Right. Now that I can be keeping my grass up, I keep my grass cut, my house painted, whatever color it's supposed to be painted, and obey all the neighborhood association rules or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. But suddenly the property value decides to drop, and I feel like I said, going back to what I was saying before, is who determines that?
And I think there's like land surveyors, and like I said, the compositions of
I want to know the
comparables. Rubric. I mean, of the other neighborhoods of what it's selling for. But I think what things is, because I've never owned a home, but I feel like, I think this would be a good point to ask a real estate person who, knows about how the real estate of your real estate brother is determined. But I think it does matter, like when you have home associations and you have to pay those dues and those fees, and they have people that keep up with certain things to make sure, like if there's crime going on, because crime can drop the value too. True. So it's crime, it's school district, if the school is not performing well, it's certain things, there's different variables that goes into whether or not your property is going to be higher end or lower end.
Right,
and you want to make sure that, like I said, you guys are like, if you got crime going on, get a neighborhood watch. If schools districts is not doing well, you need to talk to the superintendent, because a lot of times we vote these people in, or they have these meetings that you can come and ask these questions to. But I don't know the logistics of fair, like what all it entails as far as like what drastically drops the land,
the property value, so to speak. Yeah, this is something that I really have been bugging me for a while when people got to talk about property value, and like, they sold their land for, they sold their house with a little plot of land for a penny on the dollar. Then I'm like, why? Because that's how much they told it was worth. You let somebody else tell you.
Well, yeah. When you see money, not necessarily you as you, but when people see money, a lot of times they're like, okay, they're looking for right now. They're not looking for longevity. Yeah. And I think that can be an issue too. If you're not thinking of future and generational wealth, then that's going to be a problem, because you're like, I'm just trying to I'm already behind. I don't want to pay no property taxes. I don't want to do this. I ain't got nobody to watch. Okay. It's different reasons. But when it comes down to it, we just see right now, instead of you know, where I can have this for my grandson, my granddaughter, things like that. And I think that's how a lot of, when I think of the Asian cultures here, like when you go to different parts of different areas of the state, you see like they're band together, they put their money together, even right, the whole street in the whole vicinity is based on this culture. Or you see Latin people or Mexican people, it's like based on that. I have yet really to see a whole block where just black people put their money, and then it's not even just black people like you and me, like we're friends. I mean, like you and your mama and then your grandmama. I have never really seen that. You know, it's rare, and it's crazy because, you know, I think we know different than anybody else if we wanted to do that and sit down together and move the black dollar, because the black dollar is like, it's one of the most, black people spend the most money, like the most. So I just feel like, you know where your power is, and you know, like I said, have these conversations, get with some people, ask. Knowledge is everything. You know what I'm saying? If you have a question about something, get with people who know, who can tell you. Don't just research yourself, because then you will researching stuff, and it's like, okay, maybe you need to see somebody who actually knows. I mean, I'm not saying don't research it, but what I'm saying is, it's good to get with somebody who went to school for it, or, you know, we big on word of mouth. So and so told me. Now, did they go to school for this or what? You know. He ain't went to no school. He done told you this. You listening to, you know, folks from your doc. You know, you're not going to a doctor. You listening to your homeboy told you this what it is. So this what it is. He ain't went to no middle school. He ain't got a degree. It's just, that's kind of how we get our information a lot of times, and it's unfortunate. But like I said, we gotta do better as far as informing ourselves about what's going on, whether it's through land, whether it's through health, whatever it is, schools, if it's something going on in the school, bullying, whatever the case is, whatever you need to band together, we should be better at that.
Okay.
Now, do we allow others to determine what we are worth? I think some people do. I mean, when you first sent me over this, I was like, no, I don't. I know what I'm worth. But if I'm being honest, I have definitely let a job tell me what I'm worth. And then I get there and I'm ready to leave already, because I'm like, y'all want me to do what? So yeah, I have had somebody in that sense financially, with that, as far as like working. I have, took a job that I know I'm so underpaid for it, and been like, you know what?
It's probably showing now, but I get a whole attitude when I'm at work.
But like, Cordero, are you gonna do this computer? You're like, no,
I am not. Thank you.
I'm on lunch.
You can do it, Susan.
Right.
Your goddamn self.
Susan gets out. She starts typing. Cordero was very rude today.
Hostile individual.
Right.
But however. It
says, do we allow others to determine what we are worth? I think many people can relate to that. Going like, I'm just gonna think, the first thing that popped in my head after I reread it was job interviews. Like, you can go in and say what you want, but I think we all, sometimes when you just need a job or you trying to leave a certain situation, you like, look, if they you already start bargaining in your head before you let them tell you, like, if they could just give me 40,000,
if I can get this morning right here, we'll be all right. All right.
You know you need more than that, but you're like, you know, it's just things that I think
it's more so we tend to settle.
Yeah.
On a lot of things, like, you know, like you said, you went to the job knowing your work ethic, knowing you worth more. Even I'm guilty of that, and you just kind of said like, all right, I'll take this because I just, like you said, I need this
something,
for now, and you know, be sitting there like
not having faith in yourself. Like, look,
it
is what it is. But I do get though, bills ain't gonna pay themselves.
I mean, it's the fear of not being secure. I think what drives people to settle, and that's I think that's a human thing, but I think that's what it is. I think that's probably the best way I can put it. It's the fear of not being secure. And so, you know, you don't take that risk of saying, screw this, I'll wait till the next one come around. Because you don't know when the next one's coming around.
Right.
You know?
Especially if you got a family. I think you can be more relaxed.
Yeah.
I think you can be more relaxed when it's just you and, you know, your bills are very minimal. But I feel like when you have a family and things, it's kind of hard to kind of play with that. When you're like,
for yourself.
I got to feed kids, and, you know, I got a wife or a husband or whatever the case may be, or I'm taking care of parents, you know, cousins or whatever the case may be. it's one of them things that like you don't have that luxury to be like, okay, well, let me be picky.
Yeah,
but I think that you should go in definitely feeling like if it's somewhere you plan to be, and you should go in and you got the degrees or you got the experience to back it up, then go in there with that mindset like, hey, I know that this is like, look at the job, do comparables. To be honest, hey, this position, this is what this is worth. I know this is $1 billion company or $1 million or whatever. I should be getting paid this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Go in there with that mindset, because sometimes the money is going to be a factor whether you stay at a job longer or not. Because if you feel like you're underpaid, you already don't like the job, you're going to be looking for the next one within, 6 months to a year?
I would say 6 minutes, but okay. But, and I did want to say, because I hear so many times, people's like, yeah, I used to do this, I used to do that, but then I had kids, and that stopped. Or, people like, I used to be a router, I used to be a writer, or somebody used to do this. It's like, man, that's kind of...
Now, I may be talking foolishness now because I don't have any kids, but let me tell you, I feel like I love to travel. I love to travel. When I have, like, after I have, get married, and I have my kids, I don't know, depending on how, that made my heart jump. We are traveling together. Now, I'm not going to be taking no newborn baby, like, on some, safari or nothing, but listen, we all going.
Well, baby, the snake got him.
Side note. No, I ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna come on back. But, yeah, we all gonna be traveling. Like, I'm not gonna stop. I think some things you shouldn't have to stop. And traveling is one of them. And I ain't talking about you gotta be at Disney World. I hear my friend, girl, we going to Disney World. And I know that's for the kids, not, cool. But, I mean, if it's something that, like, traveling is a passion of mine. And I feel like I can't do it as frequently as I want, but it's definitely something that makes me happy.
All right, so we're going to jump into our next question. What
makes you great, Cordero? What makes you great?
I mean, have you seen my one dimple? This bright smile, like, for real, though. I be looking good. So I'm toot. But what makes me great? I will say my work ethics, my independence, and just like my determination.
Excuse me. What about your work ethic?
I believe keep going till the job is done.
So you willing to stay past like 5 hours to get the job done?
If it's for me, yeah. I don't say past 5 hours if it's like just to be staying past 5 hours. I have to be into it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, let's say that you say until the job gets done. So Bob done bought you a computer that he done messed up because, he done had his, soda next to it and the soda done spilled and then he had to dry it out and then he done made a mistake.
Realistically, ain't nothing I can do for Bob. He gonna be a hurt soul.
Come on, Cordero. I need some help here.
Bob,
look at this.
Can't nobody help you with that.
Cordero, you're the man. What about some software?
No, just being like, also just kind of like being a man of my word. I try to stick to that as much as I possibly can.
Right.
I don't like making promises.
What about keeping your word? What does that mean to you?
Well, just if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. If I say I'm gonna show up somewhere, show up. I don't try not to give a bunch of excuses to why I can't come, or because I believe in thinking if it's important to somebody, if it's important, you'll do it, or for the most part, unless something devastating happen, or barring the obvious hindrances. But if it's important enough, you'll make time for it, you'll do it. Like I don't like to give my word if I can't keep it. Some people they'll try to, come on, man, come on. Nah, I ain't better do that.
Okay.
Being a person of integrity.
There you
go. Integrous.
Integrous.
Yeah. So, Valerie, what makes you great?
Oh, I had time. Got time today, cuz.
Whole notes.
Got time. That's my paper. Got time today, cuz. No.
She got whole notes and bullet points. Is those numbers?
Look, number one, what makes me great? No, I'm gonna read what I wrote if I can see it. Okay, because I scribble a lot. I said the fact that I am willing to see other people's points of view, whether I agree or not. Let me just stop right there. I think this is a big thing to maybe you don't necessarily agree with what's going on, but I think sometimes when you can step back and try to listen to the other person, sometimes that's just what they want. They just want you to listen. It don't mean you got to agree with it. It's like a compromising ear. Oh, I just made that up. Okay. Look at the girl.
Wow.
So, toot toot. Okay. But no, like, honestly, I think that a lot of things can be resolved by coming to some middle ground. And I think whether you deal with friendships, relationships, intimate relationships, work relationships, things like that, it's like we all think differently majority of the time about different things, or sometimes you come across somebody that's really difficult. But being able to have a conversation and say, okay, I understand what you're saying, I really do, but however, let's try this, or can we move here, or oh, okay, I'm sorry you feel that way, I didn't mean like this. Sometimes a misunderstanding was keeping you from getting a job done, and I don't want to be sitting here arguing about some stuff that it don't make me no different either way. So I'm not gonna go back and forth with you and all that. So let's just agree to disagree. Can we make a compromise? Can we compromise right now and move forward?
Okay.
Another thing is, I'm not afraid to say I'm sorry or admit when I'm wrong. Why are you rubbing your chin?
This is intriguing to me.
Have I ever not been?
I'm an observer. I'm taking the compromising ear and I'm listening to you.
You listen to
No, I'm listening to you.
I'm patronizing.
I'm listening to you. I'm all ears.
No, have I? If I'm wrong, then you want to put your hands on your face like you just don't believe me. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Tell me, Emma.
You never tell her when she's wrong.
Because I ain't never been wrong by you.
I'm speaking to the audience. You never tell me wrong. It would not end well.
Wait, what?
Val, I'm listening to you.
You said I never say I'm wrong?
Forget what I said. I didn't say nothing. I ain't say a word.
Valerie will be having a new co-host next.
What if the co died?
I don't know what happened to him.
What happened to him?
Welcome to my new co-host. Introducing. No, but like I feel like it takes a big person to be like, oh dang, I messed up, or I'm sorry. Because sometimes that's hard for people. I mean, some people it's not, but sometimes it is hard to admit that. What else I put down here? Oh, when I say I love you, I really mean I love you. So, okay, I'm not one of those people that's going to be like, it's not something that rolls off easily when I say it, but when I do, I mean it. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Moving right along. And the willingness to try. And I put that on my Instagram, but I really did believe, I mean it. I feel like trying pushes out fear, and it brings in just capable thoughts and being able to have confidence in yourself. And when you're willing to try something that you've never done before, but you've always wanted to do it, it gives you a sense of accomplishment and just kind of like a self-confidence that nobody can give you, because you have to first start with yourself to like believe in yourself. Because somebody can talk to you till you're blue in the face like, Cordero, you're the best at this and this and this. But if you really don't believe it, it don't matter if God came down and said, Cordero, you gonna be like, all right, God, but let me tell you what I do. I feel like, I just told you great. I told you great. What you want me to do? It's just one of them kind of things. And so you have to learn how to self-motivate yourself. And I think that comes with trying and, not being afraid. Well, even if you're afraid, I think that's okay to be afraid. It shakes up things a little bit, but still doing it. Because it's like a weight lifted off you after you've done tried it. Like, dang, I did it. Damn, I feel good.
You know what? It's funny you say that, because I had that happen to me recently. I'm a certified mechanic now for y'all that are inquiring to what I'm talking about. Like my thing is, I deal with computers.
Right.
That's dealing with my field of study. Is so I'm not a mechanic. Like most of the dudes in my families, they mechanics.
Right.
They can build anything or put anything back together, take anything apart, or whatever. But you know what? Like I recently changed my own spark plugs.
What?
I was taking pictures of it. I was like, look at your boy in here in this engine bay changing these spark plugs. Now Everybody's like, oh, that's easy. I was like, first of all, don't steal my thunder.
Right.
First
Well,
of all,
for me, I ain't never did it.
I ain't never did it. You know what I'm saying?
Can I get mine?
Can I get mine? That's for real. Don't steal my thunder.
Right.
Okay? Let it rain. Okay? But yeah, so I did that, by myself. I made probably 2 or 3 calls, try to get some advice or whatever. But essentially, I just got out there, got my little tool set.
Right.
Got my tool set.
Whole toolbox.
Yeah. Was out there.
What I need? Did you have your pants all jacked up?
You know what I'm saying?
And some overalls. That's all you need.
Had a straw hat. You know what I'm saying?
Stop it.
Yeah, but I did that originally. When I did it,
and you feel good, right?
Put it back together. I call my granddad like, hey, look, let me tell you what I did. Let me tell you what I did. Hey, listen, hey, guess what? Yeah, I was calling my uncles and stuff like, yeah, I did that.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I got to sit at the table now. I did that right now.
Go on and fix my plate.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, make sure supper's ready.
Right.
But yeah, so I do get that the willingness to try. That's a very good thing you brought up. The willingness to try, because I do say, I know for me, I will try different things out. Even when people tell me, oh, well, this will mess it up, or this, and I'm like, stop telling me I'm gonna mess up. You ain't got no faith in me.
Right.
Get out my face.
And them kind of people you can just push off to the back burner.
They irritate me. I be ready to fight.
No, just the kind of people you just have to push to the back burner and like, look, I don't even have time for that kind of thing. I mean, and sometimes it comes from people that you consider friends or loved ones or whatever. You like, look, that's when you got to be able to say, you know what, not today. I'm not doing it with you today. I'm going to do this thing. And sometimes you have to check people. Listen, I think it's nothing wrong with checking somebody that you love or you friends or whatever case, because sometimes they don't know that they being out of line, out of pocket. They're not being supportive, and say, hey, you're not being a supportive person. I'm going to have to end this conversation. You know what I'm saying? And just end the conversation. It's done. We're moving on to something else because I don't have time for it. Like, you can't support me, then I ain't here for it.
Here you go. I like that. Check them off.
And I think the last thing...
I ain't got a problem not talking to you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to lose no sleep, no breath at all. What else makes you great, Valerie? Because you got a lot of stuff on a piece of paper.
Well, some of this is just scribble, though. But I think the last thing I want to touch on is that the willingness to work on myself. I think when we get older... me and my friends sometimes are like, girl, I can't wait till I get this age, and I'm gonna start telling people I was just being my best self, and I'm just gonna be like, I ain't gonna care. But I feel like you don't have to be stuck in yourself. A lot of times they say when you get in 50, 60, you're already stuck, or maybe even your 30s or whatever. But I feel like I tend to hang around older people sometimes, and they're like, well, I'm already stuck in my ways. I'm kind of how I am. I ain't trying to do nothing. That's
an excuse.
Yeah. It's like, I'm just, I am how I am. I ain't going to change now. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? It's too late. I think it's never too late. If it's something you really want to do, it's never too late to continuously work on yourself. And, you might surprise yourself and be a better version of yourself. And I think that I would never really want to stop. Now, of course, my core values are still there. You know what I'm saying? Like, be good to other people, hang around people with good energy, don't steal, things like that. Things that are important to me. Like I said, I still want to be married before I have kids, and certain things to me that's important that, of course, are not going to change fundamentally for me. However, and I'm sure there's some things that as I get older, I'm like, oh, I could tweak that, or I want to work on this. It's like little things that just because I get older, I shouldn't feel like I'm going to stop growing or stop learning different things. And I'm like, I don't want to never feel like that I can't do something because, well, I'm just good and, this is about as good as it's going to get. And I know a lot of people do that. And maybe for some people, that's how they feel. That's just where they're at. But I just always want to start, I want to always continue to learn. And I just remember my nephew's grandfather on their mom's side. Like I don't even really know him that well, but I was just so amazed at him that like he finally went and got his bachelor's degree after he already had his own business and everything. But he's like 64 or 5 or something. Don't quote me on the age, but I know he's past 60. And he went to school. And I'm not talking about like online. I mean, he actually like ran a business and then still went to classes and did that. And I'm just like, I thought it was the dopest thing ever, because I'm like, he had the mindset to do it and he did it. He completed it. And when I asked her, I was like, I just thought that was so cool. And she was like, yeah, he had always told his mother, I think his mother had passed already, but he had always told his mother that he wanted to go back to school, and that was like one of her wishes, and so he did it. And I was just like, that's dope. It's like, yeah, I'm here for it. So I was just like, So every time I think like, oh, I don't know if I could do something, or oh, I don't know, it's too old. I'm too, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, man, this man was 60 plus years old, went back to college, and you got to think about it. Like he got grown kids, he got great grandkids now. And stuff.
What you gonna teach him?
And it's like he was his willingness to learn. He was able to go ahead and get his degree, and I think he knew everything. And then I'm sure. I'm not saying he's computer illiterate, but I'm sure there are some things that were different for him. And then, like, even now, it's a certain kind of patience you have to do when you get older, especially you already been working for a while. And probably you got your own business. It's certain, like, look, I already do this. I got employees. But the willingness to sit in the classroom and get taught by somebody that's much, much younger than you and just kind of be like, in different semesters and classes, like that's dope. That's a certain kind of motivation that I'm always here for. And so just to find out that he went back to school and he completed it, and she was like, it took him some time. I was like, it don't even matter, but he completed it and he didn't give up on himself. And I'm like, completed, gold check, like that's some dope junk, man. I was like, I'm here for it. So don't never feel like it's too late to do something, especially if it's gonna promote you or be positive in your life. Real talk.
All right. Well, people, remember that you are great. You have to find out what's great about yourself and capitalize on that. This sounds like a
Captain Planet. It's like you can do it. Oh, okay. Well, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like a Reading Rainbow thing, but it's true though, guys.
Yeah, find out what you're great at, because everybody's good at something, and capitalize on that. Don't focus on the negative aspect, and keep those haters off you.
Keep them haters off of you. Keep them haters off of you.
No matter how much you love them, if they're not there to promote you.
Well, if they love you, if you love them, but they gotta love you back. And love means being supportive. Holla back.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't need them. We're gonna wrap this up.
We're closing the podcast.
So we
want to thank all to people who comment and subscribe and honestly share our podcast and continue to share these podcasts. And go back and look at the ones we've done before. Like I said, we had Officer Dan. That was a great one. I keep mentioning that one because it was really informational. Two-parter, yep. We got some upcoming podcasts. We're going to have another special guest. It's going to be a realtor. And that's going to be in an upcoming episode. I'll definitely put it on Instagram. So follow us on Instagram. And we'll have that link below. And Twitter. I'll definitely put when we're going to have that person come on. And we're going to ask you guys to send in questions if you have any real estate questions, or you're trying to buy a home or refinance, just any mortgage, any kind of question related to that. Shoot us a comment about it, and we will get your question asked. We're trying to see if we should do it live or not. We probably just tape it like we normally do. We would like to have a live show, and that'll be coming up. Probably we'll make it on a 20th or something.
Ain't no editing in live shows. It is what it is.
By then, we should be good. Or whatever. And then I know another show.
Look at her trying to try some new things.
Anyway, and also I'm excited because I gotta get this panel of women that we're gonna have coming on. Get some of my friends and some coworkers or something come up here and give Cordera the business about what's going on. I really think we should do guys and girls, but we'll see.
If you want to bring the guys, you can bring the guys.
Yeah, let's not let you have all the fun. I think that's gonna be a cool episode as well.
No mercy.
You don't even know what the topic's gonna be. Don't
matter. No quarters. No quarters will be given.
Quarters? What that mean?
When I say no quarters given, it means no prisoners, basically.
Oh, where that's from?
That's like war. When in war, no quarters given, it means everybody's getting it.
Where do you get them? Okay. This one comes from a guy that got them Hirajuku swords or whatever.
Hirajuku swords.
I don't know. What is it called?
Katanas.
Samurai
swords.
Oh, remember on Mortal Kombat, they had the little katanas. What did the action fighter or something on there called katana?
It's a princess little it's a chick named Katana, yeah.
And she had knives.
No, she had bladed fans.
Oh. Well, blades not knives? For real? Not really.
Well, yeah.
Y'all don't, if y'all inside, don't get on there and talk about why you don't know. Listen, I don't know about the Mortal Kombat. I mean, I know, but I don't know. You know, I got, you know.
Valerie tries. How well she tries.
I mean, I played it when I was a kid.
She tries.
Shoot. I used to like Scorpion.
See, there you go. You're all right. That's the one that's a fan favorite. So
yeah, and then my brother, he liked the ice dude. What was his name?
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero. Yeah, but look, no, he would freeze people. Yeah. Anyway, memories, shall we? But yeah, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and on Anchor. Stream us on Anchor, Spotify.
I just got an idea for a fun episode.
Okay, what should it be there?
We're gonna play video games, and I'm gonna record us playing a video game. It's gonna be a fighting game.
I don't like to lose. I don't know how.
That's exactly what I want to do.
It's gonna be a whole lot of cussing.
And I'm
a whole lot of cussing, and
I'm gonna record us playing the video game.
I just want to I'm about to be real petty right here. I just want to shout out my coworker. I'm not gonna say their name, but when I tell you I whooped that, okay, he think he's so good, right? We was playing ping pong, and when I tell you 4 in a row, like 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. Okay, that's all I want to say. I feel so good. Today was a good Friday, man. Listen. I welcome challenges. So yeah, we might can do this video game.
We're gonna do this video game. I'm recording.
And I apologize in advance for all the cuss words.
She's going to cuss.
Still a lady with a sailor's mouth there.
All right, y'all. We're wrapping this thing up.
All right. Thanks for listening. I love you guys. Bye.
Peace.